The red sand swirled around Day One's feet as he walked further from the colony buildings. He was 7 years old, and he knew he should not be out here. But the storm had brought something interesting. Through the thick orange clouds, he had seen something shiny near the rocks. Maybe it was a piece of metal from an old satellite. Maybe it was a crystal. He wanted to know. Dog behind him, padding quietly through the sand, was Mandu. The honey badger's thick gray fur kept the sand from bothering him. His small black eyes watched everything. Mandu always followed Day One. That was his job. The family had brought Mandu from Earth 3 years ago. Most families brought cats or dogs to the colonies. Day One's parents had brought Mandu. "Stay close," Day One said to Mandu. The honey badger made a small huffing sound. He was always close. The colony on planet Kepler 442 was new. Only 200 people lived here. Day One's mother, Yuna, studied plants. She tried to make Earth plants grow in the alien soil. His father, Hyan Wu, worked with the air. He made machines that changed the planet's atmosphere. Someday, they said, people could breathe outside without masks. But that was many years away. The wind grew stronger. Day One pulled his jacket tighter. The shiny thing was just ahead, stuck between two large rocks. He climbed carefully. Mandu followed, his claws clicking on the stone. Day One reached the object. It was not a crystal. It was a piece of broken metal with strange writing on it. He picked it up, turning it in his hands. The letters were not human. They looked like scratches made by claws. Above the planet, something moved through space. A ship, dark and sleek, drifted in orbit. Inside, 3 hunters studied their screens. They were Vrexians, a race that looked like a mix between lizards and insects. They had long fingers ending in sharp claws. Their skin was covered in small scales that changed color. Right now, they were the color of deep space, almost black. "The scan shows humans below," said Dex, the second hunter. He pointed at a screen. "The colony is there. But look at this. One life sign is away from the others." Far away, Krolix, the lead hunter, leaned forward. His eyes were large and yellow. "How far?" 3 kilometers from the settlement, alone. "Just one?" "Yes, a small one. A child, maybe." Krolix's mouth opened, showing rows of small, sharp teeth. This was how Vrexian smiled. "Perfect. We can take it without the others knowing. The storm will hide us." Valorn, the pilot, looked worried. "Humans are protected by the Galactic Council. If we are caught, we will not be caught," Krolix said. "We take the small one. We sell it. We leave. The buyer pays well for human children. They are rare. Most humans guard them well. This one is not guarded," Dex said. "Then this one is ours." The ship dropped through the atmosphere. The storm hit it from the colony's sensors. It landed in a canyon 2 kilometers from where Day One stood. The 3 Vrexians prepared their equipment: stun nets, capture poles, and sedative injectors. Day One was putting the metal piece in his pocket when he heard a sound. It was a high-pitched whine, like an engine. He turned and saw something coming through the sandstorm. A ship. Small, dark, and moving fast toward him. "Mandu," Day One said quietly. His heart started beating fast. The honey badger sensed danger immediately. His body went low. A sound came from his throat, a warning growl. The ship stopped 50 meters away. A door opened. 3 tall figures stepped out. They wore suits that helped them breathe. Their faces were hidden behind masks. But Day One could see their claws. "Hello, small human," one of them said. The voice came from a translator on his suit. It sounded friendly, but something was wrong. Very wrong. Day One stepped backward. "I need to go home." "We will take you home," the Vrexian said. This was Krolix. He moved closer slowly. Do not be afraid. But Day One was afraid. His parents had taught him about strangers, about ships that should not be on the planet, about people who smiled with their teeth but had bad intentions. He ran. Catch it! Kralik shouted. Vex fired the net gun. The electric net flew through the air and wrapped around Day One. He fell to the ground, tangled. The net shocked him, not enough to really hurt, but enough to make him stop moving. He tried to yell, but his voice was weak. Mandu saw his boy fall. The honey badger did what his instincts told him to do. He charged at the nearest Rexian. There is an animal. Valorn shouted. Kral single quotes. IX saw Mandu coming. He laughed. It is tiny. Just kick it away. Kralix tried to kick Mandu. It was a mistake. Mandu was fast. He dodged the kick and bit Kralix's leg. The Vrexian screamed. Mandu's teeth went through the suit. Get it off. Get it off. Vex grabbed Mandu and threw him against a rock. Mandu hit hard and fell. He did not get up right away. He was stunned. The Vrexians grabbed Day One quickly. They carried him to the ship. Day One tried to see Mandu. Was he okay? Was he alive? Mandu! He called out, but the Vrexians put him inside the ship and closed the door. That creature was aggressive, Valorn said. Should we kill it? No time, Kralik said. He was holding his bleeding leg. We need to leave before the colony detects us. The animal is small. It will die in the storm, or the wildlife will eat it. The ship lifted off. It flew to the canyon and landed behind tall rocks. The Vrexians would wait here until the storm passed. Then they would leave the planet and contact their buyer. Back at the rocks, Mandu slowly got up. His side hurt. His head was dizzy, but he was alive. He shook the sand from his fur. He looked around. The boy was gone. The ship was gone. Mandu's small black eyes focused. He smelled the air. There, very faint, was the scent of the ship's exhaust. The scent of the aliens who took his boy. Honey badgers are known for many things. They are fearless. They are tough. They can survive almost anything. But most of all, they never give up. When a honey badger decides something is its enemy, it does not stop until that enemy is destroyed. Mandu started walking. His nose followed the scent. The storm could not hide it from him. Nothing could hide it from him. The hunters had made a terrible mistake. They had taken something that belonged to Mandu, and Mandu was coming to take it back. In the colony, Yuna looked at her computer screen and frowned. Where's Day One? She asked. Hyan Wu checked his tablet. He should be back from his room by now. Let me call him. No answer. They searched the residential building, the play area, the cafeteria. No Day One. No Mandu. Check the tracking chip, Yuna said. Her voice was shaking. Every child in the colony had a small tracking chip in their jacket. Hyan Wu pulled up the location. The signal was weak because of the storm, but it was there. He is outside the colony, 3 kilometers to the east. What? Why would he go out there? I do not know. We need to find him, now. They ran to alert colonial security. Commander Taeyang listened to their report and immediately organized a search team. But the storm was too strong. The vehicles could not see. The scanners could not work properly. We will search as soon as the storm clears, Taeyang promised. Your son will be found. But in his heart, Taeyang worried. The wilderness was dangerous, and the storm would last all night. What he did not know was that Day One was no longer in the wilderness. He was in a ship in a canyon with 3 alien hunters, and somewhere in the dark, moving through the storm like a shadow, was Mandu, patient, determined, unstoppable. The Vrexian ship sat deep in the canyon, hidden between walls of red stone. Inside, The three hunters moved around their small cargo hold. Day one sat on the floor, his hands tied with smart rope that adjusted to prevent escape but did not hurt. He was scared, but trying to be brave like his father taught him. Krolix stood over him, studying the human child with his large yellow eyes. He held a scanning device that beeped softly as it read Day One's body. "Interesting," Krolix said. "The human's internal temperature is very specific. If it goes up or down too much, the human dies. They need exactly the right environment." "Fragile," Dex said. He was sitting nearby, applying medicine to his leg where Mandu had bitten him. "I have heard humans are weak." Krolix nodded. "Look at the skin. So thin, no scales. No fur, no protective plates. Just soft flesh. One cut, and they bleed easily." He moved the scanner over Daywan's arm. "The bones are not very strong either. They break if you hit them hard enough." "Then why?" Valorn asked from the pilot's seat. "Does the galaxy fear them?" Krolix laughed. It was a clicking sound deep in his throat. "Because they are clever. They make weapons. They make machines. They make alliances. But take away their technology, and they are just soft mammals. Nothing special." Daywan listened but said nothing. His parents had told him that if he was ever in danger, he should stay quiet and wait for help. Help was coming. It had to be. Krolix pressed a button on his communicator. A holographic image appeared in the air. It showed another alien, one with blue skin and too many arms. "This is Krolix. We have the item." The blue alien's eyes widened. "A human child? So soon? I told you it would be difficult." It was easy. The colony does not guard them well. This one was wandering alone. "Excellent. My buyer will pay 40,000 credits for a healthy human child. They are very rare in the black market." 40,000? Krolix's eyes gleamed. "We discussed 50,000. That was before I knew you could get one so easily. 40,000 is my offer." Krolix was quiet for a moment, then nodded. "Fine. We will deliver it tomorrow. Make sure it is not damaged. The buyer wants it in perfect condition." The hologram disappeared. Krolix turned to his companions and smiled. 40,000 credits. Split 3 ways. Not bad for one night's work. What about the colony? Valorn asked. "Will they not search?" "Let them search. The storm has erased our tracks. By the time they find anything, we will be gone. The child will be gone. And we will be rich." Dex stood up and walked over to Day One. He bent down and looked at the child's face. "Do you understand me, small human?" Day One nodded. "You will behave. You will not try to escape. If you do, we will hurt you. Do you understand?" Day One nodded again. But inside, he was thinking about Mandu. Was he okay? The Vrexians had thrown him against the rock. Day One had seen him fall. But Mandu was tough. Mandu had been hurt before. He always got back up. "Give it some water," Krolix said. "We need it healthy." Dex handed Day One a container. The water tasted strange, but he drank it. He was thirsty. Outside the ship, the storm was ending. The wind was not as strong. The sand was settling. And in the darkness, something small and gray moved between the rocks. Mandu had followed the scent for 2 hours. His nose never lost the trail. The ship had flown, but it had left a path in the air that only his sensitive smell could detect. When the ship landed, Mandu knew exactly where it was. Now he crouched on a ridge above the canyon, looking down at the ship. His body was still sore, but pain did not matter. His boy was in that ship. That was all that mattered. Honey badgers or patient hunters. Mandu watched and waited. He saw one of the aliens come out of the ship to check the equipment. He saw the alien go back inside. He counted them. 3 aliens. 1 boy, Mandu's brain was small compared to a human's brain, but it was smart in the ways that mattered. He understood predators and prey. He understood territory. He understood that these aliens had invaded his territory and taken his family. He would get his family back. And the aliens would pay Dot back at the colony. Yuna was crying. Haiyan Wu held her, but he felt helpless. The storm had finally stopped, and Commander Taeyang had sent out 3 search vehicles. They were looking for Day One's tracking signal. "We will find him," Taeyang said. He was a tall man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had been in colonial security for 15 years. The signal is still active. That means his jacket is still with him. But what if he is hurt? Yuna asked. What if the wildlife found him? Let us not think about that now. Let us focus on finding him. One of the search vehicles reached the location where Day One's signal had last been strong. The security officer stepped out and scanned the area. She found something. Footprints in the sand. Small footprints, child-sized. "I found his trail." She called on her radio. "Follow it," Taeyang ordered. The officer followed the footprints. They led to a rocky area. And there, she found something else. Blast marks on the ground. The kind made by ship thrusters. "Commander," she said slowly, "there was a ship here. An unregistered ship." Taeyang's blood went cold. "Are you certain?" "Yes. The blast pattern is fresh. Less than 3 hours old. Get back here, now. This is not a lost child situation anymore. This is an abduction." The security officer hurried back to her vehicle. As she did, she saw something else on the rocks. Blood. Not human blood. It was green. Alien blood dotted next to it. Small paw prints dotted the canyon. Krolix was eating his meal. Dex was checking the ship's systems. DeLorme was sleeping in his chair. They felt safe. They felt successful. None of them noticed the small gray shape that had climbed down the canyon wall. None of them heard the soft padding of paws on metal as something moved under their ship. Mandu explored the ship from outside. He sniffed every surface, learning the layout. He found the air vents. He found the weak points. He found where the door sealed shut. Honey badgers are famous for their ability to get into places they should not be able to reach. Their claws can tear through wood, metal, and even wire fences. Their jaws can crush bones. And they are smart enough to figure out how things work. Mandu studied the ship's door. There was a panel next to it. When the alien had gone outside earlier, he had pressed buttons on the panel and the door had opened. Mandu could not press the buttons. His paws were not shaped right, but he did not need to press them. He just needed to break the panel. His claws scraped at the panel's cover. It was tough, but not tough enough. After several minutes, the cover popped off. Inside were wires and circuits. Mandu bit down on a cluster of wires and pulled. Sparks flew. The ship's door made a beeping sound and slid open a few centimeters. Inside, Valorn woke up. "What was that sound?" "What sound?" Krolix asked. "The door." "I heard the door." Krolix walked to the door and looked at it. It was open just a crack. He frowned and pressed the button to close it. Nothing happened. He pressed it again. Still nothing. "The door is broken," he said. "How?" Dex asked. "I do not know. Maybe the storm damaged it. Can you fix it?" Krolix looked at the exposed panel. The wires were torn. "Not tonight. I will fix it in the morning." It does not matter. Nothing can get in through such a small opening. But Krolix was wrong. Something could get in. Something already had. While the 3 Vrexians went back to their tasks, Mandu squeezed through the opening. Honey badgers can fit through any space their head can fit through. The opening was small, but it was enough. Mandu was inside. He moved silently through the shadows of the cargo hold. His eyes adjusted to the dim light. He saw Day One sitting against the wall, tied up. The boy's eyes were closed. He looked like he was sleeping. You wanted to go to him. But not yet. First, he needed to know the ship better. He needed to find the best way to attack. He needed to make a plan. So Mandu climbed up into the ventilation system and disappeared into the darkness above. He would wait. He would watch. And when the time was right, he would strike. Night fell over the canyon. The two moons of Kepler 442 rose into the sky, casting pale blue light across the red rocks. Inside the Vrexian ship, two of the hunters slept. Dax sat near the door, keeping watch. His weapon, a plasma rifle, rested across his lap. Vex was bored. Guard duty was always boring. Nothing ever happened. He looked at his communicator, checking the time. 4 more hours until Krolix would replace him. 4 more hours of sitting and watching nothing. Above him, in the darkness of the ventilation shaft, Mandu waited. The honey badger had been watching for hours, learning the patterns. He knew now that the aliens took turns watching. He knew that the one on watch was always tired. He knew that this was the best time to strike. Mandu moved silently through the shaft. He was directly above Vex now. Below, the Vrexian yawned and rubbed his yellow eyes. Then Mandu dropped. He fell straight down from the vent, landing on Vex's head and shoulders. The Vrexian screamed in surprise. He tried to grab the creature, but Mandu was already moving. Claws raked across Vex's face, tearing through scales. Teeth sank into his shoulder, right where the armor did not protect. "Get off! Get off me!" Vex shouted. He stood up and spun around, trying to throw Mandu off. But honey badgers know how to hold on. Mandu's claws dug deep into Vex's flesh. His jaws locked. Vex grabbed his plasma rifle and fired wildly. The blue energy bolts hit the walls, the ceiling, the floor. One bolt hit a supply crate and set it on fire. What is happening? Krolix ran out of the sleeping quarters. He saw Vex spinning around with the small gray creature attached to him. "Shoot it." "I am trying." Vex screamed, but shooting Mandu was not easy. The honey badger was small and fast and always moving. Vex fired again, but the bolt missed and hit the control panel instead. Sparks flew. The lights flickered. Mandu finally let go and dropped to the floor. Before either Vrexian could react, he ran straight at Krolix. The lead hunter tried to kick him, but Mandu dodged and bit Krolix's ankle. The Vrexian howled in pain. Valoran appeared, holding a shock stick. "Move away from it." Krolix jumped back. Valoran swung the shock stick at Mandu. The stick crackled with electricity. If it hit, it would stun the creature for several minutes, but it did not hit. Mandu was too fast. He dodged the swing and ran straight through the broken door, disappearing into the night. After it, Krolix shouted, "Are you insane?" Valoran said, "We cannot see in the dark like it can." Krolix looked at Vex. The second hunter was bleeding from multiple wounds. His face was a mess of torn scales and green blood. His shoulder was badly damaged. "Get him to the medical bay," Krolix ordered. "Clean the wounds and seal them." "What was that thing?" Vex asked. His voice shook. "It came out of nowhere. It was like a demon." "It was just an animal," Krolix said. But he did not sound certain. They helped Vex into the medical bay. Valoran cleaned the wounds and applied the healing gel that would help the scales grow back. But some of the wounds were deep. They would leave scars. "Scan the ship," Krolix said. "Find out what kind of animal that was." Valoran used the ship's computer to analyze the blood and fur left behind. After a minute, the results appeared on the screen. "It is called a honey badger," Valoran read. "Earth mammal. Mass approximately 12 kilograms. Classified as least concern for conservation status. 12 kilograms? Krolix could not believe it. That small? It felt much larger. The database says they are known for aggressive behavior when threatened. It says they fight animals much larger than themselves. What else? It says they have very thick skin, thick fur, immune to most venoms, strong jaws, sharp claws, and the Lorne paused. It says they never give up. Once they choose a target, they do not stop until the target is dead or they are dead. Ridiculous, Krolix said. It is just an animal. A pet. It probably followed the child from the colony. If it is just a pet, Dex said through his pain, why did it attack us like that? Protecting its owner. That is what Earth animals do. Krolix picked up his plasma rifle and checked the charge. I will go outside and hunt it. It is wounded. It will not survive the night. How do you know it is wounded? Valorn asked. It was thrown against the rock earlier. It had to be hurt. And I will make sure it does not hurt anyone else. Krolix put on his armor and activated his night vision goggles. He stepped out of the ship into the cold night air. The canyon was silent, except for the wind. Little creature, Krolix called out. I know you are out there. I will find you. He walked away from the ship, his rifle ready. His goggles showed him the heat, signatures of small animals in the rocks, lizards, insects, nothing big enough to be the honey badger. Then he saw it. A heat signature behind a large boulder, about 50 meters away. It was the right size. Krolix smiled. He raised his rifle and moved forward slowly. He would shoot it from a distance. Quick and clean. Then he would go back to the ship, and they would leave this planet tomorrow as planned. He got within 30 meters. 20 meters. He took aim. The heat signature did not move. Strange. Why was it just sitting there? Krolix fired. The plasma bolt hit the boulder and exploded in blue light. He ran forward to see the body, but there was no body. There was only a warm rock that had been sitting in the sun all day. The honey badger had not been there at all. Something landed on Krolix's back. He screamed and spun around, but Mandu held on tight. This time, the honey badger went for the armor straps. His teeth were strong enough to chew through the tough material. The chest plate fell off. Then the back plate. Krolix rolled on the ground, trying to crush the creature. But Mandu knew this trick. He jumped off just in time and circled around. Now Krolix's ass armor was gone. His scales were exposed. Valorn, help me! Krolix shouted into his communicator. Where are you? Valorn's voice came back. In the canyon. 50 meters east of the ship. Mandu charged. Krolix fired his rifle, but his hands were shaking. The bolts went wide. Then Mandu was on him again, claws raking across his chest, teeth finding the soft spots between scales. Krolix finally managed to grab Mandu and throw him against the canyon wall. The honey badger hit hard and fell. This time, Krolix did not wait. He ran back toward the ship as fast as he could. Mandu got up slowly. His body hurt, but he was not done. He started walking after Krolix, slow, patient, never stopping. Krolix reached the ship and stumbled inside. His chest was bleeding. His armor was destroyed. He collapsed on the floor. Close the door, he shouted. Valorn hit the emergency seal. The door slammed shut and locked with heavy bolts. What happened? Valorn asked. It ambushed me, Krolix said. He was breathing hard. It set a trap. The heat signature was fake. It was waiting in the rocks above me. It set a trap? Valorn's voice was quiet. Animals do not set traps. This one does. Krolix looked at the sealed door. It is not going to stop. It wants the child. and it is going to keep attacking until it gets what it wants or we kill it. Then what do? Dex asked from the medical bay. Krolix was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "We wait until morning. Then we call Valor's ship down. We load the child on board and leave this planet immediately. We do not wait for the storm to fully clear. We do not wait for anything. We just leave. What about the creature? It is just an animal. It cannot follow us into space." But outside, in the darkness, Mandu sat and watched the ship. His black eyes never blinked. His patience was endless dot inside the ship. Day One had woken up during the fighting. He had heard Mandu's sounds. He knew what they meant. Mandu had come for him. Just like Day One knew he would, and Day One smiled, even though he was still tied up, even though he was still scared. Because when Mandu decided to protect something, nothing in the universe could stop him. Morning came slowly to the canyon. The first rays of sunlight touched the red rocks and made them glow like fire. Inside the Vrexian ship, no one had slept. Krolix and Dex sat near the sealed door, weapons ready. Valorn was in the pilot's seat, preparing to call for extraction. Day One sat in the corner, still tied. He had watched the hunters all night. They were afraid. He could see it in the way they jumped at small sounds, in the way they checked their weapons over and over. "Status report," Krolix said to Valorn. "The main ship is 3 hours away. I have sent the extraction request. They will send a shuttle. 3 hours?" Krolix's voice rose. "We might not have 3 hours. It is the best I can do. The storm damaged some of our systems. We need a shuttle that can dock with this ship and transfer the cargo." Krolix looked at Day One. "The child better be worth all this trouble. Should we just let it go?" Dex asked. His face was still wrapped in bandages. "Leave the child and run? No." Krolix slammed his fist against the wall. "We do not run from a 12-kilogram animal. We are hunters. We have killed creatures 10 times larger than that thing outside. Those creatures were normal animals," Valorn said quietly. "This one is different." "It is not different. It is just persistent. But persistence is not enough. We have weapons. We have armor. We have intelligence." Krolix stood up and grabbed a plasma grenade from the equipment locker. "When the shuttle arrives, we will leave. Until then, we defend this ship." Outside, Mandu had not moved from his watching spot. He had sat through the whole night, his eyes fixed on the ship. Now, with the sun rising, he began to move again. He circled the ship slowly, looking for weaknesses. The door was sealed tight. The windows were too small. But there was another way. There was always another way. He found the ventilation intake on the side of the ship. It had a metal grate covering it. The grate was designed to keep large objects out. But honey badgers are not large. Mandu's claws worked at the grate. It was secured with screws. He could not remove screws, but he could bend metal. He put his full weight against one corner of the grate and pushed. The metal bent. He pushed harder. It bent more. Inside the ship, an alarm started beeping. "What is that?" Krolix demanded. Valorn checked his screen. "Ventilation system. Something is blocking the intake. The creature. It is trying to get in. We can seal the vents from inside. Cut off airflow. Do it." Valorn pressed buttons. Throughout the ship, metal plates slid across the vent openings, sealing them shut. Done. Nothing can get through now. But Mandu was already inside the intake tube. He had squeezed through just before the plate sealed. Now he was in the ventilation system again, moving through the narrow passages. He knew where he was going. He had explored this system the night before. He knew which vent led to the cargo hold, which one led to the sleeping quarters, which one led to the pilot's area. He chose the cargo hold. That was where his boy was. The vent cover was strong. Mandu pushed at it, but it did not move. He bit the edges, trying to find a weak point. The metal tasted bad, but he did not stop. Below, Krolix heard the scratching sound. He looked up at the vent above them. "It is in the ventilation system." "Impossible," Valorn said. "I sealed all the vents. Then how do you explain that sound?" Vex raised his weapon and pointed it at the vent. "Should I shoot?" "No. You will damage the ship. Just watch it. If it breaks through, we shoot." They waited. The scratching continued. Then there was a different sound. A tearing sound. Metal being ripped. The vent covers suddenly fell to the floor with a loud clang. Mandu dropped down after it, landing in the middle of the cargo hold. 3 plasma rifles pointed at him. "Do not move, creature," Krolix said. "But honey badgers do not take orders." Mandu charged straight at Krolix. All 3 hunters fired. Plasma bolts filled the air. But Mandu was small and fast. He zigzagged across the floor. The bolts hit everything except him. One bolt hit a fuel canister. It exploded. Fire spread across the floor. Alarms started blaring. "Stop firing!" Valorn shouted. "You will destroy the ship." Mandu reached Krolix and climbed up his leg. The hunter tried to grab him, but Mandu's teeth found his hand. Krolix screamed and dropped his weapon. Vex swung his rifle like a club. He hit Mandu hard, knocking him across the room. The honey badger slammed into the wall and fell. He lay there, not moving. "Is it dead?" Valorn asked. Krolix picked up his weapon. He walked slowly toward Mandu. "I will make sure." But as he got close, Mandu's eyes opened. He was not dead. He was just waiting. Mandu lunged forward, faster than before. He went for Krolix's throat. The hunter fell backward, and Mandu was on top of him, jaws open wide. "Get it off! Get it off!" Vex grabbed Mandu and pulled. But the honey badger's grip was strong. Vex pulled harder. Finally, Mandu let go, but only because he had done enough damage. Krolix's throat was bleeding. The fire was spreading. The ship's computer was announcing emergency warnings. The air was getting smoky. "We need to evacuate." Valorn shouted. "What about the child?" Vex asked. Kral single quotes IX, holding his bleeding throat, looked at D1. An idea came to him. A desperate idea. "Grab the child," he ordered Vex. "We will use it as a shield. The creature is protecting it. It will not attack if we hold it." Vex grabbed Day 1 and lifted him up. "Stop," he shouted at Mandu. "Stop or we hurt the child." Mandu froze. His black eyes locked onto Day 1. "That is right," Krolix said. He was smiling despite his pain. "You understand. You are smart enough to understand." Day 1 looked down at Mandu. He remembered something his mother had told him about honey badgers, about how they were smart, about how they could be trained, about how they always knew who their family was. "Mandu," Day 1 said quietly. "Stay still." The honey badger did not move, but his muscles were tight. He was ready. "We are leaving," Krolix said. He moved toward the door with his weapon pointed at Mandu. "Vex, bring the child." Slowly. Vex carried Day 1 toward the door. Mandu followed, but kept his distance. They reached the door. Krolix opened it. Outside, the canyon was bright with morning sun. "Valorn, call the shuttle," Krolix ordered. "Tell them to hurry. We will meet them at the landing zone." But Valorn was not moving. The pilot was staring at his screen. "The shuttle, it is turning back." "What? Why?" "The pilot says the fire is too dangerous. He says we might explode. He is not coming. That coward." Krolix was furious. "Fine. We will walk. We will carry the child to a safe distance and contact." He never finished the sentence. because at that moment, Day One did something brave. He threw his head backward, hitting Dex in the face. The surprised hunter loosened his grip for just a second. It was enough. "Now, Mandu!" Day One shouted. Mandu exploded into action. He ran straight at Dex, climbing up his body like it was a tree. Dex let go of Day One to try to protect himself. Day One fell to the ground and rolled away. Krolix tried to aim his weapon at Mandu, but the honey badger was moving too fast. He jumped from Dex to Krolix, knocking the weapon away. Both hunters fell to the ground, shouting and bleeding. Volon saw his chance. He ran out of the ship and kept running. He did not look back. He did not try to help his companions. He just ran into the canyon and disappeared. Inside the ship, the fire reached the main fuel tank. There was a deep boom, and flames shot out of the door. The ship was dying. Mandu grabbed Day One's jacket in his teeth and dragged him away from the burning ship. The boy's hands were still tied, but he crawled as fast as he could. Mandu pulled and pulled until they were behind a large rock, safe from the fire. Krolix and Dex stumbled away from the ship, coughing and burned. They collapsed on the ground, too hurt to move. The ship exploded with a sound like thunder. Pieces of metal flew through the air. Black smoke rose into the sky. Day One lay on his back, breathing hard. Mandu climbed onto his chest and looked at him with those small black eyes. The honey badger's fur was singed. His body was covered in new wounds. But he was alive. "Good boy," Day One whispered. "Good boy, Mandu." Mandu made a small huffing sound. Then he curled up on Day One's chest and closed his eyes. He was tired. So very tired. But he had done his job. His boy was safe. The smoke from the burning ship rose high into the sky. It was visible from kilometers away. At the colony, Commander Taeyang saw it on his scanner screen. "There," he said, pointing. "That is where they are." 3 security vehicles sped across the red desert toward the canyon. Taeyang rode in the first one, his weapon ready. Behind him were 6 more security officers. They had been searching all night. Now they had found something. Yundash, and Haiyan Wu were in the second vehicle. They had refused to stay at the colony. Their son was out here somewhere, and they were going to find him. "Please let him be alive," Yuna whispered. Haiyan Wu held her hand. "He is strong, and Mandu is with him." The vehicles reached the canyon and stopped at the edge. Taeyang and his team got out with their weapons drawn. They moved carefully down into the canyon, following the smoke. What they found was a scene of destruction. A ship, or what was left of a ship, burned in the canyon floor. 2 alien bodies lay nearby, not dead but badly hurt. And behind a large rock, they found a small human boy with his hands tied and a gray honey badger lying on his chest. Day One. Yuna ran forward and dropped to her knees beside her son. She cut the ropes on his hands and pulled him into her arms. "Are you hurt? Are you okay?" "I am okay, Mom," Day One said. His voice was tired. "Mandu saved me." Haiyan Wu knelt down and gently picked up Mandu. The honey badger did not resist. He was too exhausted. "He is hurt. We need to get him to Dr. Hae-Won immediately. Get them all back to the colony," Taeyang ordered. "Medical team, check the boy for injuries. And someone help me with these aliens." 2 officers approached the injured Rexians. Krolix looked up at them with his yellow eyes. "We need medical help," he said in Universal Standard. "You will get medical help," Taeyang said coldly. "And then you will be arrested for kidnapping a human child." "It was supposed to be easy," Krolix said. His voice was weak. "Just one child. How were we supposed to know about the creature?" "That creature," Taeyang said, "is a pet. A family pet." "And you heard it." Krolix looked confused. "A pet? That was a pet?" One of the officers found Dex a few meters away. He was in even worse condition than Krolix. His face was covered in wounds. His shoulder was torn. He was mumbling to himself in his own language. What is he saying? Tai Yang asked an officer who spoke Rexian listened for a moment. He keeps saying the same thing. It never stopped. It just never stopped. Back at the colony, Dr. Haywan examined Mandu in the veterinary medical bay. The honey badger had multiple injuries. Bruised ribs, cuts, burns, but nothing was broken. Nothing was permanent. He is incredibly tough, Dr. Haywan said, applying medicine to Mandu's wounds. His skin is very thick. Most of the damage is superficial. He should heal completely in a few weeks. Can I stay with him? Haywan asked. He sat next to the medical table, holding Mandu's paw. Of course, Dr. Haywan said with a smile. But you should rest too. You have been through something terrible. I was scared, Haywan admitted. But then I heard Mandu, and I knew everything would be okay. Yuna hugged her son. We were so worried. I am sorry I went outside the colony, Haywan said. I just wanted to see what was shining in the rocks. We know, Hyanwu said. And we are not angry. We are just happy you are safe. And we are grateful to Mandu. The honey badger opened his eyes and looked at them. He made a small sound, then closed his eyes again and went to sleep. In Commander Taiyang's office. The two captured Rexians sat in custody cells. They had been treated for their injuries. Now they were being questioned. Tell me everything, Taiyang said to Krolix. Who sent you? Who was buying the child? Krolix told him everything. The broker. The buyer. The plan. He had nothing to hide anymore. He just wanted to leave this planet and never come back. You will not be leaving for a long time, Taiyang said. You will be tried under Galactic Council law. Kidnapping a child from a protected species is a serious crime. We did not know about the creature, Krolix said again. We thought humans were weak. That is what everyone says. Weak and dependent on technology. Humans are not weak, Taiyang said. And the creatures we choose to live with are not pets. They are family. When you hurt a human child, you made an enemy of that child's protector. And that protector was a honey badger. What is a honey badger? Krolix asked. Taiyang pulled up a file on his computer and turned the screen so Krolix could see. It showed videos of honey badgers on Earth, fighting leopards, raiding beehives, breaking into secure containers, escaping from zoos. Honey badgers, Taiyang explained, are one of the most fearless animals on Earth. They fight creatures 10 times their size. They survive bites from venomous snakes. They can dig through concrete. And when they decide to protect something, they never give up. Never. Krolix watched the videos in horror. And humans keep these as pets? Some humans do. Because we respect their strength. Because we admire their courage. Because we understand them. Taiyang closed the file. You chose the wrong child to kidnap. You chose the wrong species to underestimate. The incident report was sent to the Galactic Council that same day. It included video footage from the security team's body cameras. It included medical reports on the Rexian hunters. It included Dr. Haywan's analysis of Mandu's capabilities. The report spread through the galaxy, faster than light-speed communication. Within a week, every criminal organization had read it. Every slave trader had seen the videos. Every mercenary had heard the story. The report concluded with a warning. Humans are protected by their companion species. These species, though small, are extremely dangerous when their bonded humans are threatened. Exercise extreme caution. In a dark bar on a trading station far from human space, a group of Rexian slavers watched a holographic display. It showed a honey badger, small and gray, sitting calmly next to a human child. That is the creature that destroyed Krolek's S-team. One of them asked. Yes, said another. 12 kilograms. One creature. 3 trained hunters defeated. What else do humans travel with? Someone pulled up Earth's database. They have creatures called dogs. Loyal, intelligent. Some breeds weigh over 50 kilograms with jaws that can break bones. They have creatures called cats. Small but aggressive with sharp claws and fast reflexes. They have birds that can recognize faces and warn of danger. They even have creatures called horses that can kick with enough force to break ribs. And humans just live with all these creatures? Yes, they call it companionship. The slavers looked at each other. Then, one by one, they updated their targeting protocols. New rule: do not target humans. Too dangerous. Too unpredictable. Across the galaxy, the same conversation happened in a dozen different languages. The same decision was made in 100 different locations. Humans were off limits. Not because of their weapons or their ships or their technology, but because of the creatures they chose to keep close. Creatures that would fight to the death to protect them. Back on Kepler 442, life returned to normal. Day 1 went back to school. Yuna went back to her plants. Haiyan Wu went back to his atmospheric machines, and Mandu healed. Within 3 weeks, his wounds had closed. His fur had grown back. He was the same as before, padding around the family's quarters, eating his meals, sleeping in his favorite spot by the window. But something had changed. The other colonists looked at Mandu differently now. They respected him. They gave him space. Children asked Day 1 if they could pet Mandu, and they waited patiently for permission. One evening, Day 1 sat with Mandu on the balcony, watching the 2 moons rise. He scratched behind Mandu's ears. You know you are famous now? Day 1 said. Everyone in the galaxy knows about you. Mandu made a huffing sound. He did not care about fame. He cared about his family. That was all that mattered. Thank you for saving me, Day 1 whispered. Mandu looked up at him with those small black eyes. Then he went back to watching the moons dot in the distance. A ship lifted off from the colony's landing pad, heading for the stars. It carried the 2 Vrexian prisoners to stand trial. They would spend years in prison, thinking about their mistake. Thinking about the day they learned that humans were not weak. They were just humans. And humans had friends. Very dangerous friends. The galaxy would not forget this lesson soon. And neither would anyone else who thought about harming a human child. Because where humans went, their companions followed. And those companions were loyal, fierce, and absolutely unstoppable.